period until everything be released. But I'm so grateful to God that is keeping us alive, healthy, and strong. And also, I thank God for the second service that happened in WCCC Tabernacle, Botswana. I can see the power of God manifesting day after day, people getting healed, people getting delivered, people getting saved. And also, us in South Africa, we do not remain behind, because we had also our first service of lockdown service, where by God's grace, there are also signs and wonders. We thank God. And also are so grateful to God for the life of all members. Those are committed themselves, because most of the time, this period, many people are afraid. Many people are afraid to come and gather. Fear has entered. But I know my people in Botswana, they had a great challenge, because in a tabernacle of 12,000 seater, 50 people is a big challenge for them, because other people travel a long distance to come to church. But they arrive at the church, the 50 people is already. And last Sunday, I said to you people who remain outside the gate, please don't be offended. Please, courage. Take courage. Don't give up. God sees that you have left your house and come to the church. But because we don't control this world, there's nothing you can do about it. Don't be offended. Take courage. Next Sunday, come early, that you'll be number 48, and you able to join the service inside the tabernacle. But nevertheless, you know very well, as long as you are at the environment, the right place, at the right time, at WCC Tabernacle, believe me, my brother, even you are not inside the tabernacle, as long as you are in that environment, nothing is going to bypass you, because God have seen your heart that have gone to the tabernacle. Please, if you are number 51, don't be offended. Stay inside your car and follow the service. Don't move. Don't get angry to go back home. Park. Stay inside your car. If you are with your family, fellowship inside the car. As long as you are at WCC Tabernacle ground, everything that the people are inside will receive, you also will receive. In fact, maybe you can receive more than those are inside, because it's not your body comes in, it's your heart has come in. Both of us in this period, very soon is going to be over. I say very, very soon. This period is going to be very over. In fact, myself, I know you need my presence, but I'm coming. I'm with you in the spirit. That is very important. Is the spirit than the physical. I believe and I trust. I'm with you there. Just let us stand together, and I believe and I trust as soon as possible, who will be rubbing our shoulder again. And I thank God for those ushers, especially in Botswana, who are working tirelessly when people are manifesting. There's nothing you can do. You have to control, because if you don't control, it's going to be a problem. You have done a good job. Wear your gloves, wear your mask, do God work. Nothing is going to happen to you. You are not working for you, yourself, you are working for God. We thank God for your commitment. And the media people who sending us videos, who sending us photos, really, we are so grateful. We are so grateful to God that you are really, really, really committed for the work that God is doing. We are so grateful for you, for your commitment, for your devotion, for you standing by. And I believe and I trust we are going to work together until we see the glory of God in our life. I know many people are sick, many people are not well, many people are depressed because of the situation they're going through. But let me tell you something. Like I said to you from the beginning, that this particular period is not a period of fainted heart. This particular period is not a period of the fainted heart. This is a period that we want to show ourselves if we really were believers or not. This is the time. This is the hour. This is the period that you make yourself qualify. You know, all along you say, prophet, pray for me. Prophet, pray for me. But this time the prophet is very far. It's like in heaven. Now you have to raise up your voice, that your voice must be heard in heaven. Now, this is the time that your voice only able to be raised in heaven, not by your physical aspect. It's only in the spirit that your voice can be heard beyond you. It's very important sometimes when we face challenges, when we face tests in our life, is where you can be able to measure your Christianity. You see, I don't say that test is good, but we cannot avoid test as a Christian. No, we cannot avoid test as Christian. No. If it comes like what happened to Job, that was a test. He win the test. He get a certificate. It happened to Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. A test. If they can define God. But they did not. It happened to Daniel. Until he accepted to enter the den of lion. He was willing to die for God. Let me ask you a question, brother and sister. Can you die for God? Can you? Okay, let me put it easy. Can you risk for God? Can you? Is where you and I we able to measure our Christianity. You need to measure your Christianity. It's very, very important. Very, very important to measure your Christianity. Very, very important for you to understand that I have moved to level 1, now I've gone to level 5. It's not only a lockdown that you have level 5 and going to level 4, level 3. No, even in Christianity, you start level 0 and go up. But the way you know that you have gone up is by test, by trial, by tribulation. This is only the time you know yourself, I'm no longer Justin that was yesterday. I'm a new Justin. have moved to another level. It's very important because I told you, you cannot get a certificate without exams. Though you must write exams. And after the result when it comes is where you are going to understand if it's true you are doing right things. Brothers and sisters, this period is a period of qualification. Is a period of qualification. If you want to be qualified as a Christian, this is really the period. Because they're poking you everywhere. I went to a shop. Last week I bought something in a cheap price. But today when I went again, the price has gone higher. I said, what is this? He said, no, we have no supplier. Now I was asking a question. Now, if now the supplier is not there, and what we have is about to finish, what are you going to do? I don't know. Maybe I'm going to close the shop. No. You must understand that what level are moving. We are moving to a level that really, we don't really understand. Is where we need God intervention. Many, I told you, many businesses are going to close. I said to you, corona is a virus or disease that comes and goes. Like malaria, like HIV, people don't talk about it right now. It's gone because no one talk. I never heard about it. No one talk about it. The Russia is no longer there. It's no longer existing. There's no HIV because it's gone. No one talk about it. Even corona is going to be a history again. You have seen now, right now, we're already enjoying it because we're wearing our mask and we are keeping social distance. The Russians are already in, living with it. Those who will go, those who remain will remain. But at least we are getting prevention. Mask system, you put a system of mask and a system of distance. No, this is the way we're living. And we're already used to it now. In the same way, it's going to pass by. But what is coming after is like when there is a tsunami or hurricane or a strong wind. When it passes by, remember, even you don't die, but the disaster, like right now talk about disaster, the disaster this corona is going to leave behind is what we need to be concerned. It's passing by. It's gone. But the problem is after that, our life. Are you able to keep your job? Are you able to keep your business? Are you able to keep your position? I mean, it really impressive. It's a time that no one did not expect that are going to go through this particular period. It's a period. It's even one who passed through the water is not going to swallow. Even one who passed through the fire is not going to consume you. You see, this happened to David when we go to Psalm 23. He said, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I fear no evil, because he is with me. Now, this is the period that is a shadow of death. It's not death. We are moving. But one thing I'm going to tell you, sir and mother, you need to be tested as a Christian. You need to be tested. If you are refusing to be tested, that shows you are not qualified or you did not do well. But the child, a student that have done well, he will be so excited to write the exams because he wants to prove himself how far he understands the material that will be given to him. In the same way, you and I, we must accept the test. We must go through it. If you go through it, you have a reward. Though this is the period that we are going to ask a question. Our title of message today is very simple. Are you a believer? Is a question. Are you a believer? I'm just asking. Botswana, are you a believer? South African, are you a believer? American, are you a believer? No, it's a simple question. Even you, Margaret, Malaysia, are you a believer? Because if you are a believer, you must go through tests. Daniel went through tests. That his test was at the den of lion. Joseph went to test. His test was a life in prison. Yes, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. Mordecai went through tests. They made a pole where they can hang him. Most of the time, you and I fear of risking for God is where our major trouble is. How many of us can risk for God? How many of us can risk for God? Everybody is afraid. But I thank God for our ushers. When they saw people manifesting, there's nothing they can do. They have to help. And they believe that the God they save is a God of protection. They are risking for God, they're not risking for themselves. And I believe the God that they are risking for is going to protect them. It is a test. With fear, we are not going to succeed. Fear is opposite of a believer. A true believer does not fear what is going through, what is happening to him, what situation that is troubling him. He doesn't fear. He's not afraid. He's not afraid. He believes and he trusts that as he continues to trust in his God, the end of the day, the Lord, he's going to see me through. That when David says so, yes, I'm walking through the valley of shadow of death. But I cannot fear no evil because I know you're with me. That you see Daniel walked to the den of lion. He knew. Shadrach, Meshach went inside the fire. They knew. Mordecai, he agreed that they must make a pole for him. Joseph agreed to go inside the prison, life in prison. My brother, my sister, you only shouting and singing, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. What test you have gone through that make you to be qualified as a believer? What test that went through that will make you to be qualified as a believer? It's exams to write. And the result must come true. Though you see, it's not something that you wake up in the morning, you shout, I'm a believer. No. To be a believer, there is exams that to go through. There is something significant that you must make. They call it sacrifice. They call it sacrifice. This is the way you measure yourself, your level of understanding, how far you have gone with your Christ. Though you see, it's going to be a waste of time when you see crying, when you see murmuring, when you see doubting, when you see complaining. It's a waste of time. Those who believe in Christ, they're moving. They're moving. They are moving even when the time is dark. They are moving. They know that God is directing their path. They don't be afraid of anything. That you see, even this particular period, the people trust God. Those who partner for God, they don't afraid to pay the partnership. They're still doing the partnership as usually. They're not afraid. They knew that the Lord that called them, He's not going to leave them. He's not going to forsake them. He's going to continue to support them even when all the sources are closed. Is where, my brother, my sister, you must understand that you need to accept the test. You need. It's a must. Without test, you cannot come to shout to me, I'm a Christian. This is a slogan. A Christian is a slogan. It's not a slogan. A Christianity is what you deserve. Though you made it, like what Paul said, I've run my race, I finished my cost. There is a cost to go through. It's a cost to go through. It's a way many of us, we last our Bible on Sunday, and I'm going to church. But your behavior, your attitude is not yet changed. You still in the Old Testament. You still have that old behavior. The behavior that does not please God. The behavior that even the people surround you, they don't trust you. They cannot take as evidence to you. I want to tell you something. Do you know the people surround you, the people knows you? They can advocate for you to God. How? Is how you present yourself, how you live with people, how you are willing to help, how you are willing to sacrifice yourself for other people. Is where these people, when they say thank you, automatically God marks. God marks for you. Believe me, we are here to prove that we are believers. Though we need to prove. Job did his part. He proved. I give you a story of Moses recently. Moses, he could accept to stay in a palace because he had everything, but to remain an Egyptian. But Moses, because he was a believer, he said, I cannot compromise. I'll be gaining physically, but spiritual I'll lose. Better to suffer than to keep my spiritual, than to keep my relationship between me and with God. You see, your relationship between you and God, that matter than anything else. There's no one in this world who get this opportunity to stay in the palace and all what you needed and leave the palace and go to be a shepherd taking care of sheep and far from your country in Ethiopia for 40 years. For 40 years. Look how long it takes for God to approve your Christianity. For us, you pray for today, you don't get a solution. You have been moving church after church. You have been going to, I don't know what to call it, one-on-one, pastor after pastor, prophet after prophet. I mean, this Sunday you need church, next Sunday another church. I mean, what are you looking for? On Friday you go and sleep in a witch doctor house until Sunday morning you take straight away to the church. How far are you going? Let me tell you something. My brother, my sister, in this world, write it down, in this world, there's no man being have a solution for human being. Write it down. And write that, says Prophet L.N. Justin. When write that, write it down. In this world, there's no man being who have a solution of human being. He can have a solution of an animal or can have a solution of a bird. But the human being can have a solution of human being. Write it down, says Prophet Ellen Justin. The meaning that no one can help you unless the one who created you assign someone to help you. The person who help you, he did not help you, is God using him that can help you. But how is what you do and how your relationship is with God. He cannot come here physically to come and answer you. That's the time you use human being come and answer your prayer. But not when you are using shortcut. Because some of you women, when you see life not going according to what you're going, you go and kiss another man that can get what you are looking for. That shows not a solution. Some of you, work in the bank or work anywhere, you push a zero behind that to get what you are looking for. That does not make that a solution. A solution, when you are really, really stranded, you look left, you look right, nothing, and everything you touch is dry. But suddenly, God sent any angel to come and rescue you. Even yourself, you knew, even people around you knew that, in this particular situation, there's nothing our brother and their sister can do. It's finished. You cannot make it. But suddenly, you see yourself, someone comes. It's not that person. God has assigned an angel through a living body. That even Jesus have to come to this earth, to come in a physical body, that he can live with us and understand how his life is. Though this is the way God made his way, because him is a spirit. He cannot come here in the spirit. Remember, when people of Israel are making noise to Moses, we want to see your God, we want to see your God, we want to see your God. And Moses told, my God, your people want to see you. And the day God came down, believe me, everyone after that, when he passed by, they went and confronted Moses. Please tell your God to don't come again. We don't need him. The meaning, the God that we see, he always assigned angel physically, like what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. God sent angel to their house of Lot to sleep there and tell him the message. Though it's the same way, God can send anyone, can use anyone to come and rescue you. But it comes only if you already made, like what happened to Ezekiah. The prophet Isaiah is the one who brought the message. But Ezekiah, because I had a revelation, he could not touch the prophet, tell him, pray for me. He left the prophet to go. But when the prophet went, himself, he talked to God one-on-one. And remember, God could not talk to Ezekiah directly. He went again to his servant, like I told you, any ambassador. He went back to his servant and said, go back and tell my servant that I heard his prayer. You remember, that was something special. And Ezekiah, because understand, he could not ask question. But why do you not tell me that I'm healed? He understand that This man was there. He's only a messenger. He does not have anything to do with it. I have any sort to do with it. That I be telling you people, day after day. You are spending money to look for pastor one-on-one. For what for? Pastor have no solution for you. I said to you, in this world, there's no human being have a solution for human being. It's a waste of time. Human being can bring solution to you unless he's be sent by God. I said to you in a right aspect, in a positive aspect. I'm not talking about in a wrong aspect. I'm talking about in a positive aspect. God used human being to bring solution to you. But that human being cannot boast. It's only God who used him to come and give you solution. The same way, if I raise my hand and get healed, I cannot get credit. I'm only a vessel God used that I can pray for you. In the same way, like I be telling you, you need to pay, you don't need to pay anything to get solution from God. Because the solution does not come from human being. The solution comes from God. Regardless how your situation was very bad, when the pastor prays for you and you get healed, or you get saved, or you get solution, it's not the pastor has brought a solution to you. It's only be used by God. You see, those understand, they cannot get credit. They will say, thank you, Jesus. Though it's the same way, you, in this particular period, you need to learn to become a believer, not a church goer. Because most of us were church goer. That you see, you go to this church, you go to this pastor, you go to this one-on-one, even you go and borrow money to go and see the pastor. The pastor have no solution for you. Brother and sister, I'm making it louder. The pastor, the prophet, whatever you call them, they have no solution for you. Is only the one person have solution for you, is your manufacturer, is your maker, is the one who made for you. Because he's spiritual, he cannot come to you physically. He will assign human being to come to you and rescue you. That you see sometime, you see a stranger, somebody that you not expect, and come and rescue you. In fact, you see, in that time, maybe the person was not there, but suddenly the person pop in and come to rescue you. Is God angels that is sent to rescue you. But let me underline very well. You need to be a believer. That your connection, like when you have the network, wherever you are, when you call, it goes through. Even when they call you, it goes through you. But if you don't have an environment where the network is a challenge, is a difficult, and you cannot make it. But like I said to you, Joseph, how long it took him? How long it took him from the time he was being sold until the time he became a prime minister? How was his life? How terrible his life was. But the end of the day, he became a prime minister. And also to help the brothers, those sold him. Do you understand what the meaning? Vengeance belongs to God. But most of the time, we so-called Christians, we are carrying the spirit of forgiveness. We don't forgive. And we don't let the past go. It's if you have those grudges, there's no way the Spirit of the Lord can rest in you. Because the Spirit of the Lord is a freedom spirit. It's free. It's peace. And peace cannot stay in a troubled environment. The question, are you a believer? This is a message for us. If you are a believer, in this particular period, whatever you're going through, you don't bother. You don't panic. You don't fear. It's a situation that is going to bring God glory in your life. I repeat, it's a situation that's going to bring God glory in your life. Like I said to you, you must accept test, because tests belong to true believers. The one who believes go through tests, and the tests take them to another level. Let us read. Let us go to the book of Romans chapter 10. Romans chapter 10. But keep in your mind that say, our title message today is a question. Are you a believer? Romans chapter 10, I started verse 10. Verse 10 it says, for it is with your heart that you believe and you are justified. And it is with your mouth that you profess your faith and you are saved. 11. As Scripture says, anyone who believes in him will never be put to shame. 12. For there is no difference between Jews and Gentiles. The same Lord is Lord of all, and richly bless all who call on him. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Is your heart. And I said to you, my brother, no man being knows your heart, and no one knows you, because your heart is hidden. Your heart is your belief. You can believe on the ancestors. You can believe on your money. You can believe on your job. You can believe on your position. You can believe on your government. Or you can believe on God. Is where your heart is. You believe, whatever that you believe, is where your heart is. You believe on your husband, your heart is in your husband. You believe on your wife, your heart is in your wife. You believe in your money, your heart is in your money. You believe on your job, your heart is in your job. Whatever you believe is where your heart is. Is where your heart is. That you have a great role to play. You have a great role to play. I say you profess in your mouth your faith. Faith is something that is not existing physically. Faith is only in the spirit. And it brings it in the physical. Faith is the process of transferring the spirituality realm to the natural realm. That is faith. It's the power. You understand, faith has power. Faith is the power that transfer the realm of the spirit to the natural realm. What I mean is faith that brings the unseen to the seen. Is faith that brings the unseen to seen. But all this is about what is constructed in your heart. What is there? Who do you believe? I said to you, you can say believe on your ancestors. You can believe on your wife. You can believe on your position, on your bank account. You can believe on what you have. But you cannot mix it. Believe with God. Believing with God is only God must be believed. He said you only worship God in spirit and truth. Only Him alone, nothing else. Now, you have a role to play. Like I told you, your belief is only be seen when you are being tested. Even yourself, you do not know that you are a believer unless you go through tests. The test is the one who's going to prove to you that really I'm no longer yesterday Justin. I moved to another level. And that test will also prove to you if you are a believer or you are not. That one is very, very important. Your test, he is going to prove to you yourself that if you are a believer or you are not a believer. Is very, very, very critical. We thank God for those who are following this message in this particular moment. Like I told you before, we are in a period of test. We are in this particular period that many of us, if we hold on, believing in God, our life are going to go to another level. But I told you before, you need only first to be graduated spiritually, and the physical will follow. It's very important for you to understand that who had people living before us who are believers. Paul was there. Shadrach was there. Daniel was there. Joseph was there. No. All these people, like Abraham, who waited for so many years in God's promise. In the age of 75, God said, 75 already, out of game. That the time God told him that you are going to be a father of many nations. And he waited again for 25 years to see the child Isaac. Not only that, after Isaac grew, God said to him, sacrifice Isaac. A test of a believer. How many of us are ready to sacrifice our time, what we have? How many of us? We are afraid to get risk. The French people say, "Qui ne risque rien n'a rien." If you don't risk, you get nothing. Yes, the God that I'm defending now, or the God that I'm talking about, I never see him physically. I cannot lie. But I trust by faith that is existing. It's only faith that made me to follow and be obedience. Don't come out of rule and regulation. Like I said to you, in the positive way, God always sent his angel to come and rescue. Like I told you, there is no man being that can solve a problem of man being. There is no man being that have a solution for man being. But how man being come onto the picture must be sent. Even you can still send your enemy, can be sent the person that don't believe, don't trust, and come and rescue you. God can use anybody. He can. Yes, he can. But to who? To those who believe in him. Those who trust in him. He said, those who trust in him, they will never be put to shame. What the meaning? Even the last minute, he can say rescue you when everybody has given up. But he comes at the right time. God's time is the solution to the mankind. From today, write it down that there is no man being that have a solution of man being. Regardless how his voice, how he is, how educated he is, how powerful he is, he cannot solve a problem of human being. Human being is less physical, is higher spiritual, and he has his own maker, he has his own manufacturer. Is him who can fix when is a breakdown. You cannot take a Mercedes to a Toyota company. It's confusion. It's where many of us have diverted, taking another make to another make, and it brings confusion. We need to come back to your maker and make things right with him. Believe in him. He said to me, I must tell you, if you live in him, he will never put you to shame. If you trust in him, he will never put you to shame. My brother, my sister, I don't want to hold it too long because some of you are from work, from making money. Especially people in America, they say during the day they're still at work. They only put the earphone to follow this message. Nevertheless, my brother, my sister, the last word of this message is a question. Are you a believer? I'm asking this question to myself. I want you also to ask this question to yourself and to find the answer. Because this you cannot ask anybody this question. And me also cannot ask you, and you also cannot ask me. But this is a personal question. Am I a believer? Let me put it like that. Am I a believer? I have my own question, I have my own answer. I cannot lie because my maker knows if I'm a believer or not. But he said, if you are a believer, he cannot leave you nor forsake you. If you are a believer, he cannot put you to shame. Even the last minute, he can still rescue you. We want to pray in this particular moment. I don't know. What corner are you? I don't know how long I'll be waiting, but I told you, Moses, it took him 40 years to come out of taking care of sheep. 40 years. Abraham, it took him 25 years. What about Anna? How many years it took him to wait and get his children? The Shunammite woman who was given up to have a child in this world. But as she was a believer, she held on of serving God. My brother, my sister, even things are not happening, even things you're not getting solution, hold on to serve God like a Shunammite woman. She hold on to serve God. How many years it took him? By the end of the day, he got a reward. It was an unexpected child. Even Anna, unexpected child that became a prophet Samuel. Are you willing to sacrifice yourself unto God, that at the end of the day is able also to remember you and reward you. We want to pray. I don't know how long I'll be waiting. I don't know what condition you're in. I don't know the letter that you're holding, the letter of retrenchment, a sacking letter, a regret letter, a divorce letter. Yes, it can still happen to Christians to get a divorce letter, to get a retrenchment letter, to get a sack letter. You can still get it. It doesn't mean you are a believer. Because a believer does not rely on this world. A believer relies on the things that are seen. That what happened in the physically, it doesn't matter. You hold on of your integrity, because I know behind the integrity, like what happened to Job, he recovered 7 times. Like what happened to Joseph, he recovered 7 times. Our integrity as a Christian matter. We want to pray. I know this is the time of God's mercy falling upon his people. I said to you before that those who trust in my God, the God of hell and justice, he will never put you to shame. He is there for you, regardless what you are going through. He knows you. He knows you by name. Don't give up. David said, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I fear no evil. Because he is with me. He is with you in this particular moment. You don't see him, but his presence is there with you. That I just want to remind you that he's with you. He said he'll never put you to shame about the condition that you're going through. Raise up your hand and touch the screen with faith. I said to you, faith is the power that releases the unseen to the seen. It's the power that releases the unseen to the seen. I raise up my hand with faith. And let your faith rise up in the invisibility. The distance not a barrier. That is faith. Trust and obey. The power of faith raise up and reach you wherever you are. If really you are a believer, receive the unseen to the seen. Receive the unseen to the seen. Receive the unseen to the seen. It's changing the atmosphere. Whatever God has contracted in the realm of the spirit is coming to the physically. It's coming to the natural right now in the mighty name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. No one can stop you. He said he will never put you to shame. The time has come. The glory of God fall down upon you. If you are a believer, if you are a believer, the power of God, the light of Christ, and the peace of his communion is falling upon you right now in the mighty name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Receive peace, receive healing, receive deliverance, receive salvation in this particular moment. Wherever you are, distance is not a barrier. It is yours in Jesus' name. It is done, my brother. It is done, my sister. Just believe that the unseen is going to come through to the seen as you trust and obey that the Lord that you save, he say he will never leave you nor forsake you. We thank God for this wonderful message. And this message, you cannot hold on yourself. You need to share this message. You need to share it. You need to promote it. You need to send it. That at the end of the day, even those, your friends, those who are sharing with you, those are in the same trouble, that you can remind them, your God, He will never leave them nor forsake them. Your God will never put them to shame. He's a God that had the solution for all mankind. I said to you before that there's no human being, there's no mankind that have a solution of mankind. There's no human being that have a solution of human being. That stop, be stupid, follow God principles. Stop, be ignorant, follow God principles, and will see His glory. He will do it for you if you wait upon Him. He will show up the day He wants to show. He's the one who have the right time. We don't have time because we control nothing. We trust and obey. We stand firm with faith and trust. It will happen when the right time is coming. In Jesus' name. Those who trust in my God say amen, amen, amen. Thank you very much. Like I said to you, we still have people still crying about food, hunger. Go and rescue them. Your pocket will never get dry. And we thank God for all our partners who really devoted themselves to follow God's principles, for His work must move according to His will. We thank God for your life, and my God that says will never leave you nor forsake you and never put you to shame. We'll meet again on Sunday at WCCC Tabernacle, South Africa, and I'll be here physically. But in WCCC Tabernacle, Botswana, my spuku, it will be there. You remember my spirit that hiding under my stones is going to come out on Sunday, and you see the glory of God. Those are sick will get healed. Those are depressed, they will receive peace. And those who have no job, they are going to receive job. Those who have trouble in marriage, God will settle down all the situation. We thank God for this wonderful night. Remain blessed. Thank you. See you again on Sunday.